Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Gracious good morning to you good people. It's your girl KB. You know what I do and you know why I do it. It is Monday morning. It's January 12th and it's 3:20 in the a.m. I want to talk about something I heard last week, but I didn't have a whole lot of information on, so I didn't touch on it. Now I have some information. Okay, so let's talk about Donnie McClurkin for a hot second. And I'm not going to give it a whole lot of yak yak because it doesn't deserve a whole lot of yak yak. What that man does is between him and God. Now, if there's an issue of sexual misconduct, which is alleged, again, that's between him, God, and now the legal system. I don't have a heaven or hell to put him in. And I wish more people thought like that. I mean, you can have your thoughts about the situation, but I wish more people thought like that before they take to the internet and just spew. And I say that with my whole heart. And a lot of, I want to say, empathy and compassion for all parties involved. Now, the truth will come out, hopefully. But I want to talk about the keyboard gangsters, basically, who have sat as judge and jury. And I'm going to say something that's pretty much going to put me in that category, but I'm going to say it anyway based on this information and this quote from Pastor McClurkin. First and foremost, I want to say that there was a snippet of video in conjunction with this incident that highlighted a person that I have been proud to call pastor over me for some years. I no longer belong to the congregation, but this individual has had a lasting impact on my life. This individual has encouraged me to attend seminary. This individual has preached a liberation theology that has seriously impacted my life as far as defining sin and how we approach it. And please believe this person came up in the Kojic tradition and is now a part of United Church of Christ and has been a bishop for quite some time. A lot of her congregation refers to her as Mama. And again, I have mad love and respect for this individual. And they showed a snippet of her preaching something about being at a convocation or a gathering and, hearing that one sermon was preached. She never mentioned the name. One sermon was preached, and it was basically praying the gay away kind of sermon. And she said folks were laid out crying, just in all sorts of disarray about their personal lives. And I want to say it was like a mass catharsis where there was no need for a mass catharsis. in the old tradition of pulling for an emotion instead of pulling for, you know, someone to truly seek Jesus. See, a lot of the old religious tradition, theology, ministerial tradition was the more emotional people got, the more you preached in the spirit and in the truth of God, and it's basically showmanship. If you've ever seen the movie Great Balls of Fire, where the piano scene was the piano was set on fire, and the closing act was told, "Now follow that." It's that kind of mentality. But my pastor at the time was told by a member of her congregation that the person that was praying the gay away had slipped a young man his hotel key. And she asked for it. And instead of this young man showing up, she showed up and asked this individual what was the purpose of providing a key. She confronted head on. Again, she never mentioned any names. Now, I get to the comments on this particular snippet that's being shown, and folks were calling messy, petty, somebody said that's why they hate church folk. Someone said, they called my pastor out, saying she was never a bishop, doubting her calling, doubting her appointment. It was a lot of ugliness in print, and all these people were saying this based on their theology, based on their belief constructs, and citing scripture. Your life ain't no prayer book, and your life is your life. And I wish more people would adhere to that and know, to quote the song lyric, we fall down, but we get up. There's nothing worse than a sense of self-loathing and being told you're less than from somebody that you're seeking their wisdom, their knowledge, and a level of comfort for yourself based on their wisdom and their knowledge, and getting emotionally and spiritually abused. If that makes sense. Again, we wrap ourselves in scripture, and we call ourselves justified. But now, getting to what I was going to say that puts me in the category of a little bit judgmental, and I'm going to say a little bit, it's based on a quote by, again, that's supposed to be in Donnie McClurkin's defense. It says, an attorney for Mr. McClurkin, now 66, said the allegations are categorically false. Now, anytime I hear the word categorically, I can envision somebody that's just caught in the mix and doesn't know how to really extricate themselves from whatever it is. It's categorically false. All right. So this lawyer goes on to say, at no time did Pastor McClurkin engage in any form of sexual abuse, assault, or sexual coercion of Mr. Corletto. And that the attorney is Greg Lisi. Says the claims set forth in this lawsuit grossly mischaracterized the interactions which occurred over a decade. And some accusations over 2 decades ago. All these allegations are contradicted by the real facts. Okay, let's examine that statement for a hot second. No form of sexual abuse, assault, or coercion occurred. Didn't rule out consensual sex. The claims set forth are grossly mischaracterized. Again, didn't rule out consensual sex. So yeah, mischaracterized. Over a decade. Now, when something starts going hinky in any kind of relationship, you step back. This went on for 10 years. Now, he's supposed to be mentoring. Now, if I met you at age 9, that makes you 19. That makes you grown. That makes you, hey, you can come to me for any kind of questions, but at this point, I'm not your parent. You know, I have permission to co-parent. Some accusations over 2 decades. Now, you've been with this person 20 years now, according to this. Now eyebrows should be raised. Again, consensual sex was not ruled out. You had a 20-year connection with this individual. How long does mentoring go on? That's all I want to know. So yes, sounds judgmental, but no, I have questions now because this is not a full disclaimer and there's some fuzzy areas. So let's call a thing and name it. What was it?